Okay, we've started.
Hey, Rhiannon.
Hey, Katie. All
How are
right,
you?
so I'm good. We are trying something. We are becoming YouTubers in our advanced years. We're becoming YouTubers. We're
In
trying
our
something.
in our elder millennial status.
Yeah. So, uh, what's gonna happen is you're gonna play a song, and then we're gonna see if I even know it, and then we're gonna do like, is this cool or not? What do we know about it? So you have some songs and I have some songs, and we're gonna let you go first. So
Oh, that's fine. So
okay.
I chose our sweet spot. So, since we kind of grew up in the 90s and I was thinking about all the concerts I went to as a teen and beyond, and some songs that were meaningful to me. So my first song is from 1993, just to
Okay.
give you a little hint. And
Good chance.
we'll see. And I'll play the video for you too. My participant screen sharing is disabled.
Oh, hang on. Let me allow participants to share. Okay, you should be good now. We're definitely old people. We're like, you should be good now.
You can hit this button, click it. What's this do? Okay. So here, don't look at the title. Here we
Okay.
go.
I knew it
Yeah,
though. You're like, I told you, my sweet spot. 1990 to 1998. I might know it.
oh yeah, it is awesome. I love them. I didn't get to see them in concert till I was a little older though, and probably not till 9, 10 years later. But when that song came out, I was fascinated. But other songs to check out. Do you know the song? Do you realize?
I don't
It's
think so.
oh, it's so good. I would put that on my funeral playlist, by the way.
Okay.
I
Good
have one of
chance.
those because no one else is curating my music as I move on into the afterlife or become stardust.
Mhm.
Do You Realize is a really good song, and it's essentially just like everyone will die, and instead of saying all of your goodbyes, let them know you love them now while you're
Right.
here.
Right.
But that's a great song. Fight Test is another good one. And actually, there's a whole Katie's about to be much too much about Flaming Lips because
Okay.
on Fight Test, which I won't play here, but they got into some trouble because it sounds just like father and son from Cat Stevens, and it's on the T for Tillerman album, and you can play them side by side, and you're like, because I listened to the Cat Stevens album, and I was like, I know this melody. Was this a Flaming Lips
Mhm.
song? What is going on? And I went down a whole rabbit hole about that, but they have some great songs. Highly recommended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, they were definitely in the one hit wonder category of my experience of that. But, totally, at the end of this, the Katie recommendation playlist, I will do my homework and I will listen to them. I will make my daughter listen to them. Like, this is the ultimate goal, is to create a cool 11-year-old. Like, she's 10 now. She's gonna turn 11 next year, and got to get her into kind of beyond the the candy pop that she's in right now, and get her into her cool vibe now that she's a middle
Definitely.
schooler. Yeah.
You got to round out all the genres.
Yeah.
I got um, classic rock from my dad. I got uh, crooners from the 40s and 50s from my grandpa. I got the pop hits from my mom. I was also a marching band nerd and in band, and so got to do the musical theater numbers and big band and swing and the history of all the instrumental music. Like, you just got to have the good rounded out.
Yeah, I would say that my dad is actually super current on music. My dad is always into some underground band. Like, the last 10 years, he's been super deep into like electronica and like disco dance, electronic vibe music, and like he goes to all of these big shows, and like, he's old, so he can afford to get like VIP. It's like he sits in the VIP section, but it's just because he's antisocial and doesn't want people around him. But yeah, when I was growing up, my dad was definitely way cooler than me as far as music goes. Like he was always listening to new music. He was always listening to like bands you've never heard of, and he would go to shows, and but he also like did like big bands and mainstream bands too. But like my dad is like more like you. He goes to like 15 or 20 different shows a year, all different sizes. I mean, now that he's into electronic dance music, it's really easy because it's just like they're all having, he lives in LA, they're just all the time having that music. But when I was growing up, he was really into like um garage punk, just like it's like, oh, these four guys, they go to this high school over here, and I bought all their t-shirts so that they could go get their van fixed so that they could do this little road tour. And I'm like, okay, Dad, it's fine. That's great. But yeah, he's on everybody's list. He buys all the merch, he gets all the stickers. Like he's like, oh yeah, if you don't buy the merch, then they can't do the road tour. And then
Absolutely.
they
Absolutely. I am such a proponent of like buying the merch straight from the band and going to the smaller shows. And exactly. I've bought so many like concert t-shirts or vinyl at the show, and they're like, yeah, we got gas for the van to go to the next show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So do you want to test me on my next one?
I will test you on your next one.
Okay.
This one is from 1994. Possibly in the one hit wonder category, but it was a hit nonetheless, and it has some sentimental value to me. So
Okay.
let me pop it on here, and then I'm sure we'll get a fun little ad with it and everything. Let's see what we got. New. I'm going to share. All right, here we go. You caught the bass line.
Like the other songs that like really like so obviously the 90s, like the same thing, like this lady that's like they're like late the little disco girl in this with her fishnets and her bleached blonde hair. This like, yeah, this is the 90s. Like that's 100% the whole vibe. Like even like the super skinny eyebrows, I'm like, yeah, like that kind of pinup girl kind of vibe. And now it's like the moms all just like that because yeah, we're like reliving our little moment in time.
Exactly. Oh man.
So if you saw them, were they like the opener? Like were they the main?
They were headliner. I don't remember who opened, so it was probably in like 93 or 94 when I saw them. Yeah.
So it's when we get to my songs, a song from my first concert is here on the list too. But again, it's because my dad took me, and my dad is way cooler than me. So.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, I will move to the next and final song that I brought for today.
Okay.
Again, this is one of those songs. I guarantee you will know it. Some people may call them 2 to 4 hit wonder band, but they have some great albums, and they have been around for years and years. They had a brief stint where they broke up and then got back together. And I continue to see their shows throughout my adult life, and I love them so much. So I picked one song, but this whole album, and I'll talk to you in a second here about it, but this whole album has many songs that I thoroughly enjoy.
I saw the title. I know that.
all of that alliteration, I'm just like, okay, yes. I love the lyrics.
Rocking out with the band. She's love, she's in my head. She's love, she might
But
be
you know, this
dead.
is like, song was definitely on MTV, super catchy, but they were still like not a mainstream band, you know? They're just very like alternative.
They have a song about like really, really deep. That's them.
Yes, that's same album. Peaches, this song. There's a bunch of other ones like just all of them. Bold Evil, Dune Buggy. Just they have really funny names. There's one about a cat. Me being a cat person. And they have a great song called "Check Out the Jam." But their shows are always like super high energetic. Dude is just kicking all the time, jumping on the speakers, like is magnificent. But like lead singer ended up, he has a couple children's songs albums, I think. I don't have any of them, but I always love it when any kind of rock band, punk band, whatever goes off into child songs.
Like, oh,
Little bop. And their songs are like 2.5, 3 minutes, you know?
Yeah. No, I definitely, this song, this Lump, and that also that Peaches song is like very my high school friends. Like I had this one friend and like, I don't know, they just were goofy like these guys. And I think that it was just like so like the whole vibe of this era is that like all of us latchkey kids were goofy. Like there was just enough trouble to get into, but like the internet wasn't a thing yet. Like barely you could have like dial-up AOL. So like online, all the things that kids can get in trouble with now didn't exist. Like you could only get in trouble in real life with your friends. And so you had to start a goofy band and you had to write dumb songs and you had to like convince somebody to give you a video camera so you can make music videos because like that was the only kind of nonsense you could get into. And I definitely like, it makes me super nostalgic to see these guys and be like, oh yeah, I remember we would sit in the band room after school instead of going home like we were supposed to. And we
Exactly.
Yeah. And like we didn't have a cell phone. So like what did? We like played CDs in order because we didn't have a shuffle mode on our machine.
Absolutely. I feel like now when I listen to albums, I'm not as thorough about it as I used to be because I could like go to the CD and be like, okay, I want to listen to track 2, 7, and 8, and like 3's okay, and maybe 4 has potential, but I knew like the name of every song, the track title, the which order it went in, like you could eventually get like a fancy CD player and shuffle the tracks, but
No, like I remember we just had skip. So like you had to hear the first like, oh wait, this is not the one I want, skip. And if you press skip too many times, you're like, oh no. Yeah. And even before that, like I remember we made like literal actual mixtapes because like CD burning wasn't a thing yet. So like you would make a mixtape for your friends and you can't rewind those too many times because that ruins them. And just like, oh, I wish this song was in this different spot on the mixtape. Well, nope. Once it's recorded onto that, like recording over your mixtape.
Yeah.
Didn't go real wrong.
You better have a plan or it is one and done. It's the same with taking pictures,
Yeah. That I was explaining to my daughter. Yeah, she's like 10. She's only lived in a digital world. I'm like, yeah, did you know that it used to be a surprise what your pictures were going to be? You took this little thing to Costco and like 4 days later, you're like, oh, let's see what came out. You had no idea. You had no idea if everyone's head was even going to be in the picture. If everyone had their eyes open, you had nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, those are the songs that I brought for you. I think you did fairly well remembering
I
them.
did fairly well. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we gave me a softball. You're like, hey, actual hits
I did,
from your era.
I did give you a softball, and also,
Yeah.
for the 20 to 30 people who may be watching this, they can also get invited in with some hits and then do some exploring of their own should they like the sound. Yeah. We'll
Okay.
save the B-sides and rarities for later discussions.
Okay. Well, I have a B-side rarity
Okay.
as my first song. Let me see if I can get my screen sharing started. But I just want to preface that this song is not good. I want everyone to know. I know it's not good. But the reason I chose this song as one of my songs is because we're like songs that were like meaningful and impactful and meant something to you. And so I am not really the kind of person who had like my own music. I had my dad's music because my dad was into really good music. And then I had my friends' music. And now I have my kids' music and my husband's music. But in this era, on Sunday nights, there was the Dr. Demento show. And I was the only one I knew who listened to it. And I just loved it. So, like, parody songs and joke songs and mashups, like, it was late night for a reason. Like, late night radio used to be where the real weirdos were. And like
Oh
that's
yeah.
Dr. Demento was like right up on there with the real weirdos. And there was this song that he loved this song. He played this song all the time. It is not good. So I want everyone to have very low expectations. But I love this song and you hear it all the time and it's cute and it's kitschy and it's funny, but it is not good. All right, let me try to share my screen.
Oh, I love it. I love it already.
Appropriately lower your expectations.
While you're sharing Dr. Demento, I have the complete same feelings about Dr. Demento, and I actually have a Dr. Demento's Christmas album, and that's where you get the offbeat Christmas songs. Oh my.
But you see how it even has like these little
Claymation. Also quintessential 90s.
I don't know how to. I'm having the same problem now. My control bar is on top of my thing, so I don't want that. Let's see. I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit, though. Okay. This song is so dumb, but just like, and I didn't see the video. Like, I only had the audio of it.
Nothing.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, I can kind of hear somebody talking right now.
Okay, no, I think I'm probably just not sharing my audio. Okay, let's see. Share screen and share audio. There we go. Let's do it. Let's try again. So we're actually at the best part of the song. So that's good. I'll rewind it 10 seconds. So these puppets are not good. The song is not good. It sounds like a high school synthesizer situation, but that's why it's good. Can you hear it now?
Oh yeah.
It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Not as we know it. Not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Not as we know it. Captain.
Across the universe. On the Starship Enterprise under 50K. Star Trekkin across the universe.
I won't subject us to the full 3 minutes, but there's like this one really like line that gets repeated all the time. It's like, we come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill. Aye, Captain. And I will still just be like, we come in peace, shoot to kill. Like, you know how sometimes like the things just like come out of your mouth? Like, this is definitely this song that is so dumb is just so deeply imprinted in my brain. Like, this should just tell everyone everything about me. It's like, I'm like, I want to form my own personality. What's it gonna be? Oh, it's gonna be joke songs with like very low production quality, that's me. That was
People
100% of my
people
vibe.
strive to have things look like that now, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, and then, like, one of the, like, you never know what's your actual personality that you would have developed on your own and what you just like borrowed from everyone around you. So like my stepsister is 4 years older than me, and she's super artsy. Like she went to art school, like she went to arts high school, and she made short films, and like this was definitely a vibe I was catching off of her, like, oh, being quirky is a thing. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe I was going to be quirky anyway, because like, you know, it's not like I'm talking to her every day. Now we're fully grown adults and I'm still kind of quirky. But maybe it's because when I was 13, she was 17. And so like she was fully like with the black hair and the black eyeliner and like all like the safety pins everywhere and making short films because she's an independent artist. And like I'm like, how much of that did I absorb into my own personality and how much is really me? But this is, I love this song. So
yeah, but it's one of those things though, you know, just like in life, you might be predisposed to quirkiness and you just needed the environmental exposure and to let your quirkiness blossom. So, you know, I think it's a little bit of both.
I think I was gonna be quirky. I just don't know to what extent.
To what extent?
Yeah. So this next song is a song that reminds me of my dad. And also some of the quirkiness comes from my dad. Well, I would say a lot of it comes from my dad. And this song, I think, is from like 1986 or 1987. And my dad was going through like a funk jazz era. Like he was really into like Anita Baker. I don't think I put on my list, but like he listened to a lot of like, I don't know, that kind of smooth music.
Okay.
So this song, maybe you don't know this song. Like I would be like Star Trekkin' Across the Universe. Like if you don't know that song, it's fine. But this one, this might be like outside of your normal genres. Like I might be bringing you something here. So let's
very
see.
true. Very true.
Share my screen with the sound. So this song is called Popsicle Toes, and it's very long, but it's smooth.
Well, the title already reminds me of Jack Johnson Bubble Toes.
Oh yeah, and also like you can hear the like.
I feel like I'm watching an 80s detective show.
Yeah, but it has like that
was good to
like
you.
with the hi-hat, like
Add, subtract, multiply, and divide by 2. I know today's your birthday, and I did not buy no rose, but I wrote this song instead, and I call it Popsicle Toes.
Oh,
Popsicle Toes. Popsicle toes I always froze. Popsicle toes.
So my dad had this whole tape. He played it all the time in the car. And like he would always be like, get your popsicle toes off of me. And so like, you know, you just like get like little connections. And like, obviously this is not about a father-daughter relationship, this song, but I just like, this is such a cute little song. And then like, as you get older, you're like, oh yeah, you know, like in that kind of romantic relationship, you know, you're at a certain point in your life together when you put your cold toes under their butt and like, that's how you get warm toes. But also, like, I really like the simplicity of this song. It is a little bit like those 90s jams that you have where there's like 3 instruments and 1 voice. This is like exactly the same, like 3 instruments, 1 voice. Smoother and more mellow, but the same, like, just like the barest bones of what this music is.
Yeah, I'm a big lyrics fan, and so I really like the lyrics. It's just nice, smooth chords and transitions, and It's his voice kind of reminds me of Paul Simon a little bit. I feel like little Paul Simon, Jim Croce vibe.
Yeah, and like mustache helps too.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the mustache also.
Yeah. So this guy, this album is called The Art of Tea. This is the only song I remember from the album, but the whole album was like super mellow and like fun to listen to. And I think that was part of why I didn't feel like the need to like really branch out and find my own music, is because my dad's music was good. Like this is a good song. Like this is a chill vibe. Like this is like a fun thing to have playing. So, I just piggybacked on his music for, 25 years. Okay, the next one, going with my theme of my dad's music. So in the 90s, I don't know if you remember this, but country music went mainstream in the 90s.
Oh, I'm in Ohio, girl. Yes.
Okay.
I'm aware.
I'm just like
I'm aware.
checking in.
I mean,
Okay.
We're talking Brooks and Dunn, Garth Brooks, Randy Travis. I mean, Reba McEntire. Late 90s is Shania Twain and the country pop, but that's totally different. But yeah,
So
I'm with you.
My dad got into country music. I don't know exactly how, because I was a kid, but my dad got into country music, and then I got really into country music. So when I signed up for like BMG, like my nine of my 25 albums that I got for 13 cents were all like country music. So I had like,
oh, yours were 13 cents? Mine were a penny.
Yeah, like country music. And then I had like Beck. I had like probably Smashing Pumpkins, even though I don't like them. Like, just like the music my friends told me I should order, because you got like that piece of paper, you just like put the dots all over the piece of paper, whatever came.
Yes. Can we just pause for a moment and talk about that? Because I have so many random CDs in my collection, because I was like, I like that one song on the CD. I don't really care if I like all the other 11 songs because they cost a penny. So one that will probably end up on here is Harvey Danger Flagpole Sitta. And I can say with confidence, I bought that for a penny because I was like, I don't even care. That song's amazing. But
yeah,
gone are the days of scamming the Columbia House and BMG for hundreds of CDs.
And I'm like, they had to know that we were like 11 and had no money.
Right. How many different like names with the same address did you send in? Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, back to country music, but I'm with you.
Country music from the 90s. And I grew up in Orange County, California, which by the 90s was not country. Like there are like no farmers. There's no people roping and riding. It was like suburbia. But in the 90s, we had like line dancing bars and like urban cowboy whole situation. And so I got super, super into country music. And I think maybe this was me kind of pushing against like, oh, my dad's musical influence and my stepsister's musical influence. And I'm like, I'm going to go in a completely different direction down the country music lane, which, like I said, my dad is the one who introduced it to me. So I really love this song. This is like, this is a bop.
I can see you got your eye on this old cowboy.
This is also a really simple arrangement. Like I think that's what I have to like. It's like
you like simple arrangement.
Well, it might be kind of fun to take him home.
You giggle every time that I say yes, ma'am, and I get this feeling if I held you tight, you'd be seeing his and hers, buckles, boots, and spurs. But that's feeling
is that Garth Brooks?
I think so. I'm gonna say totally Garth Brooks.
When that old rooster crows at dawn, when he's lying there instead of getting out of bed and putting on his boots and getting gone. What you gonna do when he says, honey, I got a half a mind to stay? What you gonna do with a cowboy when he don't saddle up and ride away?
Oh my. See, but here's what I love about country though, besides, very clear, simple chords, whatever. I love all of the metaphors. I'm a girl that loves wordplay, and then he starts
Yeah.
talking about the boots, and then it made me think of all the other country songs, and what bed have your boots been under? There's lots of songs about boots. You can just
Yeah.
take a theme and run with it and make an
Yeah.
entire country song out of it. Like
And this,
that.
I think this song is also like totally in that moment where it's like city girls are like, oh, you're such a cowboy. Isn't it so nice to have a cowboy? And they're like, girl, you don't want a cowboy. What are you going to do when you've got one? Because they're not all, it's not all the romance. It's also all
Right.
this other stuff that goes with it.
That's awesome. I have never heard that song.
Oh, don't quote me on this, but I think this Chris LeDoux guy passed away. But like he was, I was really into him. He had like that really baritone voice and like, but it was zippy and like everything is in this kind of like late 40s vibe. Like it wasn't rock and roll yet. It was still kind of like you can hear the folk music influence of it still. Like,
Yeah.
like with the violin in it, with the fiddle in, and but also like super simple arrangement. Like you can kind of like if you think about like the Grand Old Opry, like the videos you see from the 60s of the Grand Old Opera, they're like standing up like all. You can kind of see this vibe fitting into that vibe. Versus like if you look at country music now, it's like wow, they're rapping, they're like.
Well, yeah, it's just they take on whatever influence, right, of the time period, even back in the early country, and when they started using, I can't even remember the name of the guitars, but when the slider guitars and they have like the Hawaiian influence and the different types of country. For those of you country fans out there, you got to get to Nashville and go to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and you'll learn all the history of country music.
Yeah.
So you can forget it and then Google it later.
I really, I do like country music even still now. Every now and then I'm like, get sucked into the algorithm. They're like, oh yeah, you've said yes to this many songs in a row. We'll start showing you country music. Because it is like the songs are like pretty straightforward. like boy meets girl, girl says no, boy is sad type of just like boom, boom, boom kind of song. I like that. I like, maybe I'm just like simpleton. I like a nice straightforward story in my songs.
And I think a lot of it too, or the country that I liked was middle class themes and stuff, just like getting off work and going and having a beer with your buddies and just letting off steam somehow. And usually country boys and girls getting down on the farm. Or but then there was also the line dancing craze, so boot scoot and boogie and the achy breaky heart. It depends on the function of the country song. But I'm also into outlaw country too, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard. So there's all these like subgenres within country. It isn't one of my most listened to genres anymore, but back in the 90s for sure it was. Garth Brooks definitely helped with that.
Yeah, I like, if I'm choosing the music, I like to listen to upbeat, happier music. So like Johnny Cash, I think is just like too morose. Like he's always kind of like,
oh girl,
part of it's his voice too.
It depends on which Johnny Cash, because one of my favorite Johnny Cash's songs, like when I'm feeling down or whatever, is Get Rhythm When You Get the Blues. And it's a real dancey song, and it just talks about dancing it out, dancing out your blues, so there are some that are less morose.
I had to branch out, but
yes, I'll have to send you some. Yes,
but
definitely like old, like first few albums Johnny Cash, well, he's a whole genre onto himself, like all the varying types of music he sang, but
we I don't remember what, somehow my algorithm just started giving me like tons of Johnny Cash. And Like I really like that song, A Boy Called Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's probably my favorite one. But again, it's like kind of upbeat. Like even though he's like, Dad, I hate you, you ruined my life. It's still like upbeat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what my next song is. My next song. Okay, so this song is from the first concert I ever went to when I was 12. My dad took me and my stepsister to this to this concert because one of her favorite bands was the opening act and one of my favorite bands was the headliner. So let me figure out where my windows are so I can share things here. Share screen. We're like so old. I have to talk about all the steps to share my stuff. Okay.
Oh.
More cowbell.
More cowbell. More hairspray. Please tell me you are having Hannah listen to Bon Jovi.
So last week we went to her dance, her school dance. She's in middle school, and it's all requests. They have to submit their requests to the school, and the school passes them through to the DJ. So like you have to make sure that it's like school appropriate. And this is the second time I've gone and chaperoned one of her dances, and they always play Livin' on a Prayer, and they always play that Journey song.
Don't Stop Believin'.
Yeah, Don't Stop Believin'. And I'm like, how these songs are 30 years older than the oldest child in this school. Like, how do they even know it? They love that Rick Astley
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Never Gonna Give You Up. And I don't know if they like it ironically because of like the whole Rick rolling thing, but they go berserk for it. They go like fully berserk for it. But yeah, so Hannah's into Bon Jovi, and but I'm like, are you into Bon Jovi because it's vintage and this is like ironic the way that people my age were into the Beach Boys? Like, did Bon Jovi become the Beach Boys of the 2020s? I mean, it's not.
Well,
Boys are not a good band because they are, but
maybe not Bon Jovi so much, but thanks to movies like Shrek and Sing and other movies, animated movies that are hits with the kids, they do covers of these classic songs. So then they just eat up every version of it, right? But
yeah. So I don't know. I keep turning off my screen because it's more fun to talk to you than to listen to a song I already know. But yeah, so this concert, I was 12. My dad took me to this concert as my 12th birthday present. And it was the Bon Jovi Slippery When Wet tour, and it was opened by Skid Row. And it was at the Irvine Spectrum. So it was a huge amphitheater, like a huge arena. So talk about the hardest first experience. Nothing can live up to that. Like face melting off, pyrotechnics. Like you saw this thing. Imagine being 12 and you're just like, oh my God. And like the amount of screaming and all the hair. I was just like, this is the best experience of my whole life. And so like now I'm like, oh, if it's not arena rock, I don't even know if it's actually worth it.
But Skid Row opening, that's awesome. Oh my gosh.
It was so good. It was so good. And like it was on a school night, like everything about the experience was great. So like if I was 12, my stepsister was like gonna be 16. So I just turned 12. She wasn't quite 16 yet. And so like to have this experience where it was fun for her and it was fun for me and it was fun for my dad and we were all having a great time. It was like kind of what going to a concert is supposed to be like. And it was just like amazing. And I kept that t-shirt for so long. It was like in tatters. I'm like, oh, I finally had to retire it because, can't wash a t-shirt that many times. But yeah, like I don't even bands that I am into. Yeah, I am into Bon Jovi. And just as you get older, you find out, oh, like this guy, John Bon Jovi, married his high school sweetheart. So like this whole 80s when he's like this like sex heartthrob with the tight pants and wiggling his butt like he did in the video. Like he's like, hey honey, I'll see you after the show. Love you. And then like going home to the wife and kids while he's out here shaking the moneymaker. Like just those kind of little things that you find out later. Like when you're 14 and you're just getting your face melted off with this like flowing hair. And then you find out, that's a persona. I was just like really into that.
Yeah. I sometimes kind of miss the personas and not being able to Google every fact about someone because I think I have not enjoyed a lot of artists once I got to know who they were as a person or their concert show magic just went away because I know that this is an act that they put on where, when you're younger, you just kind of believe all of it. Like, oh my God. This guy's a rock
also
star.
like right now, like some people are straight trash and like R. Kelly. We can be over R. Kelly. Like, doesn't matter how good your music is, you can't kidnap people. Like, sorry. There's a line, and kidnapping people is on the other side of it. Right. But then like I used to be really into Kid Rock, as you can kind of tell by where my musical convergence is. Like I was really into Kid Rock. I'm like, this is everything that I like in music. And then you let people talk on Twitter and I'm like, oh man, you're very distasteful. I do not like you as a human person. Why is your music so good? And it kind of just like ruined. Like, it's not that he's doing bad things. It's just like, I don't think he's a cool dude anymore. And it ruined like my enjoyment of his music. And I'm like, oh man, that sucked. So yeah, back in the 80s when like even like Teen Beat magazine didn't give you any information in there. You're like, John Bon Jovi, look at him with his dog.
You just got like, you got like a little centerfold poster you can put up on your wall.
Yeah, exactly. And like, oh, here's Corey Haim. What's the other one? Corey Feldman. Here are the two Corys.
The Corys.
Yeah, Corys. Yeah. So like we didn't get like complete access to them, and so they were more of a mystery. And now I'm like, maybe that was better. Because like right now I'm kind of going through it with Kanye. I'm like, Kanye, your music is so good, but I don't know about you as a human person.
I know. But that's how music is transactional though, right? I mean, not only are you changing as a person and now you see things differently and then you listen to music again and it just has a whole new meaning. You know, I love going back and listening to things, or even it's the same with watching movies too, but just with music in particular, I was in this space and time when I listened to this. I mean, it's hard for me to go back and listen to early 20s angsty, damn the man stuff, because now I am the man in the comfortable middle class home that I never thought I'd live in. I still listen to the Descendants' Suburban Home over and over, and I just go, I know, dude, I know, but like health insurance and the steady check's pretty awesome. Like I get it. So I don't know, but it's hard to listen to rip apart breakup songs when you are in a happy relationship also.
Yeah. I think that was really nice growing up in California in the 90s is like California beach music. Even my angsty teen music was kind of happy. So like Offspring, even when they were being angsty teen music, it was upbeat. They were like, they were pretty fly for a white guy. Like it was still like kind of like things are crappy, but in the scheme of things, not really, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, like I'm the oldest of all my cousins, and I have a cousin who's like 8 years younger than me, and he grew up in San Diego, and we're like, it's hard to be like, I'm mad at my dad, because actually my dad's kind of awesome. My dad's kind of awesome, and he provided me with this awesome life, and we live in this awesome place. And so like you can't like poison your mind with that stuff. Or
Yeah.
I guess you could, but like it's hard to appreciate it the same way as like when you're going through it. And like every kid has like their angsty moments, but I think that was like the Southern California 90s angsty kids, for the most part. I think we realized it could be worse. Like we could be angsty kids in, someplace that's not 4 minutes away from the beach, or we could get there unsupervised for $1. like it was such a great time to be 15 that I was just like, I don't think anybody else is like getting that kind of, like, all the parents worked.
Yep.
And they didn't know that bad things could happen to you yet. So they just let you go anywhere.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The place you could go was the beach. The place you could go was like this awesome place where everything was happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was Columbus, Ohio like? Were you like making a break for it to go hang out with the cool kids in Columbus, Ohio?
Columbus, Ohio wasn't too bad. It's but there wasn't a beach to go to necessarily. My thing was, hanging out in coffee shops, or not even coffee shops, just like there's TJ's, which is like a breakfast chain joint with, $3 eggs and toast and coffee, and you just sit there and drink a bunch of coffee and talk about existential crises and what you're going to be when you grow up and how you're going to change the world. And a lot of the stuff, my mom worked nights, so I just had a house key and like come home and good luck. So wherever you could hang, as long as somebody was driving, there's a nice little like Griggs Reservoir, this little river that runs, and tons of places to like park and hang out. And trying to think what else, but really, it's just hanging out at somebody's house or hanging out at a coffee shop, or I went to some shows. We'll talk about some in later episodes when they were, you need to be 21 to get in shows, and what you have to do to try to get in those shows.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we're coming up on a whole hour of
that went by so fast.
I know, isn't it fun?
And I'm like trying not to talk about so many songs because I gotta save some for more episodes.
Oh, don't worry. As we can see behind you, there's like 10,000 songs literally just sitting behind you right now.
Would you like my current newer bands recommendation that I'm listening to right now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I have the vinyl here just so you can see the cover art. But this is, let me move my ring light. This is Wetleg.
Okay.
They are a new band, like the past, I think, year or two.
Mm-hmm.
It is two ladies. It is super poppy rock, indie. Shay's Lounge and Wet Dreams are like two of their songs that are pretty popular. Absolutely love Wetleg. Most of these are chick punk bands, actually. This one, all the family and friends love to say it, Mannequin Pussy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but there's a great song on this album called Drunk 2. But this is like a band with a chick lead singer, super good. One of my newest favorite is Bort. And like,
yeah,
you did hear the news that like NoFX is retiring, right? So like all of our old punk bands that we love, they're getting older. It's time to kind of pass the torch to the new wave, and what's new punk gonna look like, Bort, oh my God, this chick has so much energy. One of my favorite songs is called Lot Lizard 93, and so we'll put that on the recommended playlist. But those are the ones I'm listening to now. But then I have one more album that I bought because all of our 90s music is getting repressed, or the early aughts, so I just bought this little beauty.
Okay, so I recognize the word Creed, obviously. But you're gonna have to be like next a few future episodes, like, what is creative?
Absolutely, absolutely. And Scott Stapp, the lead singer, everybody either like loves or hates Creed, or they pretend like they hate Creed, but they loved him when they first came out. Don't let them lie to you. But
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what I wanted to share today with you.
Well, I am super glad that we're becoming YouTubers. This is great.
I just want to spread our love of music and into the world, and not let people forget about these awesome 90s songs that may have been swept under the rug after all this time.
Yeah, and I would just like to listen to music that was not in a Disney made for TV movie. That would be great. All right, I'm going to stop recording now.
Okay.